At this time, we'll call the Tuesday, April 5th, 2022 meeting of the Board of Supervisors to order. Larry McDevitt, Mike Steinis, and myself, Jack Willie, are the supervisors. We have Lisa Smith and Bjorn Beck from the Auditor's Office, and Luann Bulkey, our Administrative Assistant. First item on the agenda this morning is David Dryer.
Good morning.
Morning, David.
Morning,
Good
Dave.
morning.
First item I have is another notice of retirement, a 30-year, approximately 30-year employee, Ray Gottschalk, based out of the Iron Hill shop as the equipment operator 3 is retiring. So we'd like permission to advertise both internally and externally as required. And I also wanted to thank both Ray for his 30 years of service and Mike Babcock for previous retirement that I failed to notice too. He had 10 years of service with the county, and so I want to thank both those gentlemen for working for us and working for the public and all that entails.
So when we send this out internally and then it goes to the public or
I think the
gets
first,
advertised,
Becky and Stacy will figure it out, but it'll be predominantly filled from internal.
but the applications will go to Human Resources, correct?
Yes.
I mean, that's what we decided a year or 2 years ago, that everything was done. It makes it much easier flow.
To keep track of them, yes.
Yeah.
Somebody isn't lost.
You need action on Brooks or Ray's retirement.
Yes.
I would make that motion.
We have a motion and a second on the letter of retirement for Ray Gottschalk. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Okay.
I should have told him that nay, just for Ray.
Well, you can still do that. Want me to call the question again?
We got the entrance permits. The first permit is for Charles Davison in Perry Township, section 29, for a residential driveway on 117th Street on the north side of the road. Rogers reviewed that. We recommend approval of that one.
A motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the residential entrance for Charles Davison. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
And another residential permit for Roger and Lori Grabenhoff, Perry Township, section 6 on 216th Avenue on the east side of the road. And recommend approval of that.
To approve.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the residential entrance permit for Roger and Linda Grabenoff. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
And then we have 2 right-of-way utility permits, both for Macocata Valley Electric Cooperative. First permit is for work they're doing in Richmond Township on section 32 on 216th Street. They're doing some electric undergrounding work and fiber optic as well. And then recommend approval of that permit.
So moved.
Are you doing both?
We can do both of them if you'd like. And the other one from the Macocata Valley Electric, doing work in Brandon Township. They're doing some aerial work in section 34 along 50th Avenue. Electric service, recommend approval of that.
Approving both.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the 2 permits from the Macocata Valley Electric. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Those are the only items I have.
I'm sure after the snow and after the rain, we've had some calls.
We've had some calls, yep. We send out crews to get the soft spots.
We
And
give you a couple more spots
if you
like.
if you must.
Any applications for
We've
getting?
gotten a number, they just came in this morning from Becky, so we have some candidates we'll be interviewing, we'll be setting those up.
When's the deadline? What was the deadline?
I'm not sure, I what the closing date was exactly. I'd have to look. But we're glad to get those.
Yeah,
So,
amen.
yeah.
Okay, we have a little time before visitors and citizens. Jim, do you want to go ahead and start?
Sure.
Come on up here. Joined by Jim Crocker, Chief Deputy for the Sheriff's Department.
Morning, Jim.
Good morning.
Like you're going fishing.
We'll be today.
I like fish.
I like it once it's cooked.
Are we dealing?
I know. me too.
Bartering.
Okay, what we have here is Jackson County Courthouse Safety and Security Policy, which was presented last week by Deputy Yunke. There were 2 changes asked to be made, or 3 changes. In 3A1, the hours have changed to reflect the current hours. In 3C, 1 and 2, the entrances with emergency exits are amended to reflect what was brought up last week. I would propose this document as safety and security policy for approval.
So I guess I'm looking at number 1. Is it best for information on accessibility to this, to call the auditor's office or to call here? What's your thoughts on that? I mean, is that something that you need to deal with, or Luann knows the schedule? Here,
Yeah,
Well, I have it.
that's fine. I got, it's the last line and number 1 policy, very first page.
So what does that mean? I mean,
To
Jackson
me,
County, the
it
courthouse
means-
is accessible. It is handicap accessible. Is that what we're dealing with? Is that the question?
I guess, are they calling for information on accessibility of usage, or just if it's handicap accessible, or if they can use your room downstairs? I guess I don't know.
I didn't write the policy. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
But the auditor is in charge of the courthouse.
We are.
yeah, but I mean,
Oh, yeah.
if it's a yes or no answer when somebody's calling, do you need to be bothered with it?
Well, everything's accessible. When you come down the ramp here and come in and.
This is for information on accessibility and to request reasonable accommodation.
As an example, when we had jury trials, if we have a potential juror that needs to have different accommodations. The southeast door here, as we call it, the parking lot door, is not accessible to the general public, but in those certain circumstances, we do allow people to use that. So, I mean, we do get questions on that, and we do,
Okay.
yeah, so we do make accommodations to people. We're not set
But
in
it would be
stone.
open this way also because of the lift.
You're correct. Yeah, this particular person that we had an issue with is that he had an issue getting in and out of the building. I think he was in a wheelchair, if I remember right. And he had to wheel himself back and forth, and it was just very time consuming, and it was
Okay.
easier to have him come off the parking lot.
Shortcut, sure.
Mhm,
Yeah,
Yep,
that's fine.
yep.
Yeah, I
So-
guess my only question is does it need to, do you need to have that go to your office?
I'm okay with it because
Okay.
we already are doing it, I guess.
Okay, that's what I didn't know.
Yeah.
I
I'm not
would-
sure what
I
the
would say
intent
that
of the
would be
committee
the
was.
appropriate place
Yeah.
for us to
I
go.
guess-
Well, if it's just information, yeah.
Yeah.
And we had talked about that basement door. And Marty uses that quite a bit.
He would like to. He hasn't been able to.
I mean, he uses that, he likes to take stuff up and down there, and of course, from his office to his buildings out here is a lot closer than coming up the elevator and,
He would like to use it on a daily basis. As an example, when they come in and first thing in the morning, he would like to be able to use that they do time clock in. And it would be easier for him to At least that's what he's telling
And
me.
that's just a key.
So
lock,
you,
right?
so would you like 3C1 to read like 3C2? In terms of use by maintenance?
So the question is does the board want daily use from the maintenance department of the downstairs ramp door?
I'm with okay him using that as long as it's locked during the day.
Okay, so would you like that language to demonstrate that?
So is there a way you could temporarily shut that alarm off if he's going out?
That would be a PR question, I believe.
We had to do it when we did election equipment on the front door, when that was accessible. We'd have to disable that alarm so we could carry stuff out the front north door. That has gone away now with the Platt Street project. So
So would there be a way that if he was going to go out, he could just push the button or turn something for 2 minutes and then it would reset?
No,
You know, it's just as easy where's the language at, or what did you actually?
I believe if you let him use the door on a daily basis, that you would have to disable the alarm.
Could more reset it for night or not?
It's a manual, it's not an
somebody would have to
electronic.
physically do it.
Well,
This is a manual alarm, not an electronic alarm.
At the door,
On the handle, on the push bar.
so he can functionally do that.
With a key.
so would it be, could he put the alarm back on at the end of his day?
So then what's the point
With
of
the
the
key?
alarm after everybody leaves at,
Well, in case somebody tries to break in.
Nobody's gonna hear that. It's just an inaudible alarm inside the.
Oh,
It's not to.
yeah,
hook
it
up
doesn't,
dispatch or
it doesn't
anything.
No.
send an
It's not
alarm
a-
to the police station or
So,
the sheriff's
If
office.
somebody would go out that door in the day and the alarm went off on that door, you know exactly what door somebody went on them.
Yeah, because there's only 2 doors and this one's a lot louder than that one.
And there's cameras on that too.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with him using that door.
So you'd like that language changed to maybe used by maintenance.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
it's too dangerous for us to bring election equipment up the ramp door. So I don't
Yeah,
see us
yeah.
using that. It's too
No, I
dangerous.
mean, you're closer with the elevator anyway.
Well, the elevator is so much easier than pulling up a ramp.
Yeah. no.
If someone would like to see how much work we do, come here on a Monday night before a Tuesday election. We line the hallway with equipment.
Yeah,
And
I've
that's
seen it.
just, yep, see, it's,
Yep.
yeah, and see, Bjorn has already taken some of the equipment out prior to that, so. It's extensive, the amount of equipment that we take out of the courthouse here for elections.
And I'm done.
okay.
Anybody else?
Would you want this rescheduled or you want?
No, I'd
this
make the motion
approved?
to approve with that change.
Okay,
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the security and safety policy with one change.
that'll
All
be
those in
back,
favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
that'll be back for a signature then, probably in 10 minutes.
We'll be here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, at this time, does any citizen wish to address the board? Do we know who Ronald is?
You identified? No.
Ronald, could you identify yourself so we can have it in the minutes that you attended virtually?
It's not.
Okay, I guess not. Okay,
Yeah, an email from Mary Hayward about the intersection of.
so did I. I think we all did.
Okay. Just concerned about something needs to be done with it, so, and we're working on it.
At Hurstville.
Yeah.
Call from a reporter in Dubuque and
Yeah, so did I.
so they. I mean, it's in the DOT's hands right now, so.
Well, in her email, she says, close it today.
Yeah.
Either that or have people learn how to drive. Luann, do you want to come up and do yours? Thanks, we've got some minutes before Elizabeth gets here.
Morning.
Good
Morning.
Calendar for this week. This afternoon at 1:30, there is a US Department of Labor listening session on WebEx. If anybody's interested, I think it came for Jack, but I think it's open to anybody who wants to listen. Wednesday, April 6th at 9 a.m. is an RTA meeting in Dubuque or by Zoom for all of you. Thursday, April 7th at 10 a.m. is a Mississippi Valley Workforce CEO Fiscal Agent Bid Review in Muscatine for Jack. Friday, April 8th at 10 a.m. is the 7th Judicial District Department of Corrections meeting in Davenport for Larry. And at 1 o'clock is a DCAT meeting either in DeWitt or by Zoom for Mike. Monday, April 11th at 7:30 a.m. is the Early Childhood Iowa Executive Meeting for Jack in DeWitt or by Zoom. And our next regular meeting will be Tuesday, April 12th at 9 a.m. And then afternoon at 4 o'clock is a Macocata River Watershed Executive Meeting by Zoom for Larry.
I have not seen the Zoom information yet. Have you for that DCAT meeting?
I think she sent it in the calendar, so I will double check on that. The rest of the business I have this morning, I have 2 items that need action for the Leisure Lake CDBG grant. The first one is a page of federal assurances that are needed for the grant. And I need a motion to have the chair sign that.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to authorize the chair to sign the federal assurance grant. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
All right, the second item is also for the same grant. It is a HUD disclosure form. And I'm also looking for a motion to have the chair sign that form.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second to authorize the chair to sign the HUD disclosure form grant. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
All I've got for you today.
Okay, I just, I was here yesterday and saw Luann and her frustration. ECIA sent this material. It was not on our agenda. It was after the 9 o'clock timeframe to be placed on the agenda, but Luann could put it under her portion. But I think that we need to communicate with Kelly, with ECIA. This is the 3rd or 4th time in a row that they pulled this, that it had to be done, and we don't have the appropriate lead time to get it done. And I think that, I think it's great to get these grants, but I said, really, we shouldn't be doing it today.
I didn't see it, but I could see it in the response in the email, the frustration. But so I didn't see where Tricia gave you an answer of why is it here so late? I did not see that she answered that, I guess.
What she keeps saying is that other people just sign it when she tells them to, and she doesn't have to get it on the agenda or have a motion made by the board of supervisors.
Oh, well, then you explained to her that that's how we do that.
I have
She hasn't,
repeatedly, yeah.
and this is the 3rd time that
Okay, so
it's happened.
maybe if we get a chance, we can speak with Kelly tomorrow and or Tricia.
Well, I did tell Luann that I would speak with Kelly Dukemeyer tomorrow and say that, this just cannot continue.
Well, or having me put something on the agenda and you guys take action, and then she comes back the next day and says, send me the resolution. We didn't do it by resolution. So we have to redo everything, and it's not just me that's getting
No,
frustrated.
no.
If they need a resolution, that should be.
I mean, we
Upfront,
should know, it.
upfront,
we
yeah.
should know it at the time that we're
Right,
passing
exactly,
anything.
right.
And
Waste of
They,
time
then
to-
she-
they've done this enough times, they should have.
And then she contacted you and says, I need a copy of the signed minutes from
Right.
that meeting, you know? I mean, they should be able to tell us A, B, C, D, what they need from us at the time that they're asking. I mean,
And I'm not defending the way it was done by any means, but I know Tricia is in a rather new position there, so I guess, I don't know if there's any lenience that should be or not, but anyway, it should be brought to their attention, yes. This is how we do it, and this is when we would need the information by a week before, or
but Matt should know, and he's working with their hand in hand on this
I would tend to
process.
agree.
So anyway, I've said my piece.
That would be appreciated.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay. Mr. Crocker.
Feedback.
Okay. We will sign that and we'll recess until we're joined by Elizabeth Townsend. This time we'll reconvene the meeting and we're being joined by Elizabeth Townsend, our Jackson County Health Administrator. Good morning.
Good morning.
Lauren?
How are you all?
We're good, and you?
I'm good.
Good.
Yeah. So just an update from maybe the beginning of January until the middle of March. And this was information that I shared with my board at my last board meeting.
I'm sorry, we don't have,
Do you want one?
to be awesome,
Yeah,
I could follow through with
Do
it.
you want me
yeah.
to? Well, it's pretty sure I can. William, do you want me
Yeah,
to?
basically.
Yeah.
Unless you, I mean, anything you have on there, we can read, right?
It's legible, yes. I deleted all that stuff.
That's what I said.
that's good.
Get yourself environmentally friendly.
No, I mean, public health, we were just talking about the news last night about 3M Corporation in Cordova. That the state of Illinois is suing the 3M Corporation for polluting the river with whatever it is.
Is that public health or is that EPA?
Well, it's probably EPA.
Yeah.
The state, or so some part of the state, whatever department you want, is
Mhm.
suing 3M for. But they were claiming, or they said that they run 8 million gallons of water through that plant.
Wow.
So he said the fish are all glowing.
Yeah. So it is public health, because Jim's going fishing.
Right.
We told him not to go to Cordova fishing.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder what, they just must not be complying with whatever
Yeah,
they're
whatever it
supposed
was.
to. Yeah, that's too
Back in
bad.
1960s. so it was a
Yeah,
long time.
well, people have the misconception that if something's like, going into a river, that it's bad or something like that, but actually, a lot of those things are approved and perfectly
Mhm.
fine. So speaking of dirty water.
Yeah.
So we have the water infrastructure grant that I spoke to you about the last time. It's a new grant that's temporarily available until funding runs out for that. It covers some of our unserved communities in the county. I guess I would say probably about 6 or 7 people interested in it, but they just weren't qualifying. So we're really looking for these communities that are, like Fulton's a good example, just these houses are in these clusters and they're in a small community and they don't have, a public wastewater treatment system put in place. So they are eligible for this grant, which covers either all or majority of their either replacement or repair to a system. So I've got one application that's in process right now, and actually I'll be wrapping it up this week and sending it in. But we're really just looking to make sure we have everything put together properly, because the issue that they've had is that people have not been sending in completed applications. So I think if people had completed applications, there wouldn't even be funding left right now. So I'm making sure this application is going to go in and be fully completed and hopefully get approved. So we would have at least one person getting a new septic system in the county with this grant. I did actually meet with the local newspaper 2 months ago. They still have not put information in the paper for us yet, but I did.
Did you hear that, Kelly?
She said it was coming out this week, so.
Okay,
good. Waiting for that to come out, but it covered information on that grant and then just everything else that we do in the department, so people know. It
Is it
is.
possible to communicate with, the few residents that are in Fulton and kind of talk to them? or
Yeah, so
send them
I've kind of spread
information
word
about it?
out. Yeah, I did consider doing like a letter to each of those communities. It's been kind of challenging to try to identify
Sure.
what they really are. So, but that is something I'm probably gonna do because at this point, I feel like I haven't had enough interest in it. Yeah. So, I am gonna do that. But like I said, all the contractors have the information and for some reason they just know everybody and who needs what. So there is one other individual I know that qualifies and is in need of a system, but the homeowner has to be on board.
Sure,
too.
sure.
So, and it really has been quite the process just for this one application. I've been working on this for weeks and weeks. So.
Is Nidaho included in that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's Nidaho, Ferry Landing, we're not Ferry Landing, Smiths Ferry Road, Fulton. What's the other one?
Nashville, would that be one?
No, it's not, no,
Not Green Island.
no, not Green. I know, I was surprised that Green Island isn't.
Yeah,
Yeah, you'd think so.
yeah.
Yeah, so there's a few of them,
I
but
mean, we know they have septic issues down there. We've given variances before,
yeah, so a lot of the issues, I think that people might be concerned that if they don't get the funding, so if I find out that
Oh,
they've
so you
got,
know it's not compliant, now you're gonna say, you have to put a new system in.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I can understand that too,
Yeah.
but
I
I would
mean,
think if they would
that?
qualify, I would think they'd want to apply.
even the one that I have right now, there was fine, like the financial issues, because they have to have a soil done, they have to have a soil analysis done, okay? They have to have, they have to pay for a permit, they have to do all these things, so I've figured out to do it in a way so they don't have to pay for it. So I'm issuing a permit, but that permit is contingent on them getting that funding,
Funding.
so if they don't, then I remove the permit, so it gets put into the bid. And then the soil analysis, which runs about $450. Ultimately, the homeowner is gonna be responsible for that, even if they don't get the grant.
Hmm.
So I'm trying to be really cautious and sensitive to,
Sure.
people financial status, not putting them at risk, I guess. But I think that might be a lot of it. But I've had a lot of interest, people that are nearby those communities, but maybe there's on a farm, and a farm isn't really considered, in a community, in an unsewered community, so.
So what company does the soil analysis?
So we have A&E does it out of Geneseo. And then the other one is Brad Kate, and he is out of Savannah. I tell people that they can really use anybody they want to do the soil analysis. Those are just the two companies that we happen to have around here that do the majority of
And how do
them.
they compare for prices?
They're very close, very comparable. Yeah.
So if there's anybody out there that's some.
Yeah, they've actually been working with us, so I know that like Brad Kate, he did the one for this, and he just said, I'll hold off on charging them until, so he's being patient, understands it's part of a grant, that type of thing, so. But at the end of the day, they gotta get paid, so, and I've just made the homeowners aware that that's the case, so. So that's something I'm still just kind of working on, and actually I will get letters out today. I'll just have to get on the map and make sure that people are within that community. I don't want to send like something to somebody and then have them not even be eligible.
You could probably double check with the assessor's office too. They would be able to
Yeah,
probably give you some,
Yeah. listen.
Guidance.
Yeah.
My guess is that people in them areas don't even hear about this stuff, you know, I know it's in the paper and I know it's been on the radio and.
even the water testing, I'm surprised people don't,
Yeah.
they're not aware that it's free, so I've, like I said, I was hoping that article was gonna go out in paper, it didn't, and this is actually Public Health Week this week, and so I was gonna have something, like an ad put in the paper, but I thought this other thing was gonna be coming out, so I'll have to do something. I think it would be appropriate to send letters out to people, just making them aware. Let's see, also, I am preparing for my REHS exam, that will be at the end of May, it's at the Town Clock Center, NICC. It's a 5-hour long exam. It's pretty intense, I've been studying for it as much as I can, but it's a lot of information. Very challenging, and most people don't pass that test their first time. It's like a 30% pass rate, I think.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. I know Frank, he passed it his first time. He made sure to let me know that.
He did, of course.
Yeah,
of
yeah,
course, he would let you know.
yeah.
5 hours is a long time.
And so, yeah, it covers like 14 areas of public health, where most health departments only cover 1 to 2 areas of public
And
health.
how many of these 14 are you need to have
We only do 2 of them.
here?
Mhm.
You know what the worst part of that test is, when you're all done, it says, are you sure you're done?
Yeah. It does it?
Yeah, well, most of them would take like that on the computer, it says, are you sure you're done? You said, yeah, finished, we just, are you sure? Then you think, I'll go back.
Yeah.
I think I did like 4 of them last night for the type of things, I was trying to catch up on. I got 100%, 100%, then I got 80%, and the 4th one I got 20%. I'm like, okay, I ain't had enough of this.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
good luck.
I'm actually doing an overview course, and hopefully it will help. It's just, we'll see. So I have like a 2-month window to do that. You're supposed to do it 2 months before you take the exam, but the course in itself is very lengthy. It's just, anyway, it's great.
Getting back to not getting the story out sometimes.
Sure.
Have you ever thought about being on Let's Talk on KMAQ?
Yeah, actually Christine and I were just talking about that this morning. I know that's something else I was going to do, I think the last time we spoke. And then Mike had got something out. We put some information out, I think, on the radio or something for me. So I thought I had things coming out and they're not. So that's definitely something that I will.
Well, you're on tomorrow, aren't you? Oh, when is it?
The 13th.
Oh, the 13th.
Larry's on it.
No, it's you
The 13th of.
Yeah, I did it last month.
of April.
I'll give him a call. I'll give him a call and see if I can get on the schedule.
I remember the last time I was on, though, I mentioned it that
Yeah.
about public health and the
Yeah.
water test and.
Yeah, because it was right after the last time I met with you
Yeah.
guys. You did that and then I had the newspaper in like the next day.
Because I know last Friday on KMAQ, I happened to be home and one of the things they had several phone calls about was the ATV changes. And he says, oh, the supervisors will be in a week. I'll have them talk about it. So I said something to Luann and so she says, well, I thought it was me. And she said, no, it's Mike. Because you can't do it the next month, you've got a conflict. So you're doing it this month. And I said, well, that's probably better because he knows a lot more about the ATV stuff than I do.
I think it's a great way to get in touch with people because actually right after Mike did the radio thing, I had several people contact me about water testing and I always ask people like, how did you hear about this? And there was like 3 of them are like the radio, so.
I think people do really listen. to that
Yeah, and
station
I
quite a
think
bit.
Mhm.
Dennis is very accommodating to get people on. So.
Okay, yep, I will.
You might even just call them and remind them that it is Public Health Week.
Sure.
And
Oh,
maybe they
sure.
put a few spots on about,
Okay, great. We'll do that.
probably let you even go over and do them.
Yay. Okay. Well, that sounds like a plan. So just to go through our period totals from January to March, and these are not up to date as of today, but as of March. So we have 0 septic permits issued. Actually, now we do have 1. It's for the grant. We have, so 1 septic site assessment and consultation, 2 well permits were issued, 2 well site assessments were completed. We had 1 nuisance complaint, 4 animal bite reports and investigations, 37 water tests for the Grants to Counties program, 6 TOT reports completed, 31 licensed installers, applications were received and approved. 1 radon kit was sold, and our revenue was $1,760 in deposits for the radon kit, septic installer license applications, and the well permit applications.
No
So-
septic permits?
We have not had any yet. We have 1 for this year. So that was as of a few weeks ago.
So we have 31 licensed installers in the county.
So, yes, normally we would have quite a bit more. So I think what they do is they, huh?
I mean, that seems like a lot.
Okay, what was that?
It seems like a lot, but
Yeah, actually, it's normally double that. So I think what happens is as they get like a job for the year, they'll apply for that license.
okay.
Some of them just wait, because some of them do a lot of systems, some of them just do like 1 or 2 maybe.
I had mine off and on too.
Yeah,
Something come up, I'd come in and get it.
septic permit question. We have 1 now. There's 1 issued, and it's for the grant that we have.
No, I thought there was a septic system going in here. Soon as the weather permits.
So that's probably from last year.
Okay.
Yeah, so these are current
I know we talked
permits
about it,
issued
yeah.
this year.
They're good for 1 year.
They're good for 1 year. Yep, so we'll have a lot of systems that'll be installed this spring that were permitted last year. So, just depending, but I think there's, I want to say maybe 7 or 8 of them that are still pending from last year that need to be done. I know a lot of the installers were really busy, so they just have to put them where they can. So that's all I have.
Okay,
All right,
thank you very much.
thank you.
Don't hesitate to contact us if you have any issues.
Well.
Okay, I think it's your turn.
This morning, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the March 29th, 2022 board proceedings as written by Auditor Smith and authorized publication in the official newspapers.
So moved.
Second.
The motion and a second to approve the minutes of the previous meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
I need a motion to accept, place on file, and authorize the chair's signature on the county recorder's report of fees collected for the month of March 22 in the amount of $52,061.95.
Move to approve. Second.
A motion and a second to approve the auditor's recorder's monthly report. All those in favor? Aye, motion carried.
I also need a motion to approve resolution number 885-04-05-2022, approving the bond disclosure policy and approving the county auditor as the disclosure coordinator to take any and all action necessary to properly implement the policy.
Second.
We're happy you're doing that.
You can see the excitement on my face.
Yes. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
I will yield until John Hanson gets here. My next item on my agenda would be the resolution number 886, which is the awarding of the construction contracts. So for that, I would yield. My next resolution that I need a motion to approve is resolution number 887-04-05-2022, canceling outstanding warrants now in the Jackson County Auditor's Office in the amount of $2,906.25.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
And I have not physically received, but I did through email this morning, the pay recap sheets for the Together We Build project. So I do need a motion to approve invoices for $9,406 to SA Architects and $6,113.32 to Midwest Construction Consultants for a total of $15,519.32, and authorize the chair's signature on the project cost recap for the Together We Build project.
So my question is, like, I know we've gone through this with the jail also, but SA Architects, do they just periodically bill?
Yes,
Okay.
and I can show, yes,
I can
because they
see
have a
where-
contract.
Yeah, I
And
can see
then
where
as
mid-
they're doing, this is like a progress voucher for them, so to speak.
Okay.
And I can show that to you in the project cost recap.
I mean, I can
Like I
certainly
said, it
see
was-
where Midwest Construction would have
Yeah,
ongoing costs as they're
Yeah.
involved, but once the architecting is complete.
That's what I don't understand. Once the design has been approved.
Yeah.
What changes are they making?
Well, they're not making changes, they're just billing
Yeah, really building.
semi-annually or quarterly, whatever, yeah.
yeah, John's got, well, that project cost recap, like I said, he emailed it to me. Alls we do is we just sign it and then I give him everything for them to pay. But it is, you can see there's a progress to it.
So when we get to the project, when you send you the project recap report, when we get to that line that's what this charge is gonna be, when we get to that amount, they would quit, right?
Well, theoretically, yes. Mhm.
That recap shows percentage wise how far SA Architects is through their total.
Yeah, we have one for the jail too,
Yeah,
And I think it's, from what I've seen in a past experience, it's a way to hold the architects accountable for things that they do have to sign off on at the end of the project.
Oh,
And so if there's something that maybe isn't quite what you want, you've got a carrot.
Mhm.
like Clinton
You don't
County's general
have to feed 'em.
electric to design a roof for a section of the building.
Mhm.
So it never got bid. It was just, we're missing the
plumbing.
piece.
And the air exchange system or something.
Air
wasn't it?
exchange,
Air
air
exchange was the other big deal.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot to,
That was
yeah,
huge.
couldn't even open, yeah.
Motion
Yeah,
and a
where were we
second.
at?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
That's all that I have for the board for right now. Okay,
I guess at this point, we will recess until, is John gonna zoom in and, oh, he's coming? Oh, okay. We'll wait till John gets here and that's the next action that we have. Otherwise, we have work sessions at 10:30 and then 11. This time we'll reconvene the meeting and we're being joined by John Hanson and some representatives from the Together We Build building. So take it away, John.
Good morning.
So we went over the bids and we did fairly well in the bids. A lot better than everybody thought we were gonna do. So we did run the numbers, entered the low figures of the figures of the low contractors into the cost recap. And after doing that and adding some of the Fair Board's other contractors that bid the project, personally, we are within budget guidelines of around 2.9 million. And we had a Zoom meeting with the board on Sunday evening. And I guess I'll let the board kind of take over from there. Unless you had some additional questions for me.
I don't.
Well, I think we just let you know that we're all here because we're excited that this project is finally coming together. So we went through the protocol of making sure that we have all the entities that have been involved and are involved on board, and the Jackson County Fair Board has voted in favor. It might have been unanimous. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, there was no dissension among that group
And
Saturday evening.
Saturday evening. And then, as John mentioned, we had a pre-meeting on Friday and then the final Zoom meeting on Sunday night with our steering committee, and that was a unanimous vote as well to proceed. So we're here today to move forward, and we're making the recommendation to the Jackson County Board of Supervisors that based on what we've raised for monies to date, we recognize that we still are going to need to continue to do some fundraising. But with what we've got, everything came within our budget.
Yeah.
That we had planned, right?
Yep, within our estimates, and like Dean said, we included in our funds available is the $300,000 revolving loan fund amount, and so we are not taking our foot off the gas on fundraising. We're going to continue to charge forward on that so that we can have as much of that made up before this project is complete. To if there's any good to come of the fact that it's going to take longer than we wanted to get the building actually built, it gives us another year of fundraising here before the last checks are paid too. So that helps. But yeah, as Dean said, the recommendation of the board, including the representatives from the Extension Council and representatives of the Fair Board, are to award the low bids and proceed with construction.
There was a lot of conversation,
Yeah,
a lot of concern.
still a lot of hills to climb, but
Yep.
we get there by working at it.
Yep. And I think one of the things we also talked about that, the sooner we can show that something's happening on the site, the better it'll be for possible additional fundraising.
Right.
Because a lot of people are just kind of waiting to see if it's really going to happen.
Mhm.
And it really is going to happen.
Mhm.
So, in fact, I think I told somebody, I had a phone call this week from somebody that wanted to know why there was no name. I think it was Scott I saw at the spaghetti supper. She said, how come that doesn't have a name? And I said, well, there's an option that you could name it if you wanted to. Because I said, that's one of the fundraising items that was on the block, is somebody could pay to name that street. And she said, I don't think I can afford to do that, but she's an older lady, but and I said, I really have no idea why that street was never named either. So,
And I just want to make a point that the committee has worked diligently on this. We had a little bit larger building and we scaled it back, at that time to accommodate the needs that we had now and stuff. So we've worked on it over, a year and a half. And
Just since you joined us.
yeah, just since I joined, and the committee's worked even more diligently to get some of the donations for it. So I'm glad that it came in where it did, and it should pay off.
I was able to sit on the Friday meeting. I was able to zoom in on that, and I could see that there was some concerns, and there was some concerns on make sure that we were touching all bases, that you were touching all bases, and I just want to appreciate or give you guys my appreciation of doing your due diligence and proceeding step by step with it and not rushing it, of course. And I think it's time to move forward.
I did share with him, since he was listening to that meeting, I did share with him Laura's call
Okay, good.
later that day.
Well,
So,
I see the next email, that number was not what I seen the day before.
We have an anonymous donor. It's coming through the Community Foundation. And the Friday numbers, we didn't have our statement, ironically, from Community Foundation came after that meeting, which acknowledged that donation, which then brought us to the number that we all thought we were probably
was
at.
that Will that just walked down the street or down the hall?
He walked away.
Is he back?
Yes, he
Yeah, he's
is.
back.
Yep.
I think I just saw him go that way. Suppose it's going to the extension office instead of here.
I hope not. We'd like to have Will here because Will Cornelius has led our Major Ask committee, and this is a kind of a sampling of everybody that's been involved. And Amber, this really started how many years ago?
Well, 2008, we actually had our first discussions about moving the extension office to the fairgrounds. And then we reorganized and through extension, so we held off till we kind of knew our financial situation. And so then about 4 years ago, I think Sparky and I were sitting around talking about it again, and we started to form the committee. So we've really been actively working for probably about 3 years. So.
I just remember Sparky and Dave Bermel kind of putting us in a corner and asking us to join the committee if we would come to a meeting, right,
Yep,
Scott? We were
yep.
just invited to come to the meeting. And somehow during that meeting, the railroad
We left.
train brought us in as coaches. And it has been a journey. But it's been a nice journey. It's been a journey that has really made, I think, everybody appreciate where we're at today. And we are so thankful because it's a grassroots effort that made this happen. It's not the orange sheet people, orange shirt people only. It was everybody.
Every corner of the
4-H,
county.
yeah, the township chairs and the 4-H members, the dimes that we collected. You know, we had, and we still got ideas going on. And Jeanette is sitting back there. She's probably the silent person that's been with Extension in the lower level forever. And it's time for us to get Jeanette to the new office.
With a
Office with a
window.
window.
With a window.
With a window she can see
To
outside.
the outside.
Oh, we had to get rid of that.
Oh,
Somebody better donate some money to that.
You better be careful, John. No, it's been quite an amazing group, and I've enjoyed being a part of that group. And it's gonna finally happen.
It's exciting to see things move forward.
So, John, do you have other things to present, other? No?
I believe you have the resolutions or whatever that,
So I do have a resolution today to award the contract.
yes. So I've talked to the contractors and the low general construction contractors, Peak Construction out of North Liberty, Iowa at $1,089,000. Contract 2 plumbing, the low contractor was Hometown Plumbing and Heating, Davenport, Iowa at $247,535. Contract 3 HVAC, the low contractor was Crawford Company out of Dubuque, Iowa, at $320,000. Contract 4 electrical was Stickley Electric at $264,761.28 out of our Fairtown here in Macokota. And low fire sprinkler contractor was Midwest Automatic Fire Sprinkler at $38,910. So it'd be our recommendation, is, you know, to award bids to the low contractors on the project.
So moved.
So if you're ready for
Whoops,
that
yeah.
motion, I need a motion to approve resolution number 886-04-05-2022, awarding the construction contracts for the Jackson County Fair and ISU Extension 4-H Outreach Center, and authorize the chair and auditor to execute a contract with each of the contractors.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Will, is there anything you want to say? You've been kind of quiet.
Hold on.
Will has worked really, really hard out there helping to fundraise and talking to lots and lots of people, and we have appreciated his efforts, as everyone's.
yeah, we probably would be remiss to leave out John. John has really worked hard to help us figure out how to get this project within our budget. And now his challenge is to keep everybody within their budget.
Make sure you don't use all of that contingency. Huh?
That's right.
It's something for a party. we're doing.
That's right. So we need to figure out when we're gonna break ground on this too, so these golden.
We're gonna
shovels.
recess now because they want to take a picture. At this time, we'll reconvene the meeting. We've been meeting with John. And together we build people, and I think we're ready to. There's, the only thing we have left is a work session with David Dreyer and Becky Chapin on human resources. Any other business?
Did I mention the 911 committee last time? That the hospital has agreed to contribute to our PSAP?
No, you have not told us that.
Then I forgot.
Um,
They have contacted us and they would like to participate in their contribution to the dispatch center.
Oh.
In the amount of, what we requested was $30,914.
That's great.
That's good news. Okay, is there any other business? If not, we have a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.